Today on This Old House.
The windows go in here anywhere from 15 minutes to a couple hours.
What are you doing there?
Outside corner with no seam, no nailing, plugging it, nothing.
How did you do that?
And here in the garage, we're going to turn a concrete slab from a liability to an asset.
Hi there, Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to This Old House and to our 1880s Cape here in Concord, Massachusetts. So the front of the house, which is the original part, not too many changes going on right there. We've got some new siding, we've got some new roofs. Hey, Norm. But the back of the house, this is where all the drama starts. We've got a new two-car garage with a bedroom up top, an office out back. We've got the walls and the roof sheath, and even though this roof line right here is pretty simple, we've got some really complicated roof lines out back. And right here, this is sort of where new meets old into the house. And hey, Charlie, Tommy, how are you?
Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
All right, speaking of new, I hear you guys are trying out something new on the house here. New product?
This is a new product. Believe it or not, this is going to be for all of our exterior trim.
Okay.
It's a PVC base, but also a higher percentage of a product called rice hull.
Rice hulls, as in like the organic rice hulls that come from growing rice?
The protective shell around the rice. They don't have a use for it, they say. So,
Really?
Yep, they're using it for this.
So we like PVC for a couple reasons. I mean, it's rot resistant. It also takes paint well, so it looks pretty good on the house.
Yeah, and this product also takes paint well. And believe it or not, it's even stainable.
You can stain this stuff?
Yep,
Like wood?
Yep, I even saw a panel all made up, all stained. You really look like a piece of wood.
Okay. What do they claim that it does for us? It's so spectacular.
It performs like PVC, although it doesn't have the expansion that PVC has. PVC will, over its lineal, will expand. Like a 20-foot piece could expand 3/8 to a half an inch.
Yeah.
This will expand, or should I grow, less. So it's about 15% less in growth.
So we like the PVC because it doesn't rot, it takes paint. You guys sometimes complain because it's floppy on the longer lengths. Is this more stable? It's just as floppy or stiffer?
It's not as floppy. It definitely feels more dense.
Well, let's put it through spaces.
All right.
It's a nice clean edge.
Yeah. Nice sharp edge, no splintering, which is good. All right, let's try a router with an OG cut on it, see how that works. That's pretty clean. Have to do a little sanding there, we'll see how that sands up. It looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't get any drag like you get with straight PVC.
But you know what? There's one other feature that's pretty neat.
What? What are you doing there?
Outside corner with no seam, no nailing, no plugging it, nothing.
How did you do that?
We'll first cut the groove. And then once we have the cut made, take a heat gun, apply it on both sides evenly. Don't try to overheat one side or the other. And then there you go, then it bends.
No kidding. Could you have done something like this with PVC?
I don't think so.
Last night I made up a sample for an outside corner, kept it in a bucket of water overnight just to see if there was any reaction.
I did think there would be, but it's nice and stable, same dimension all the way down. That's a good thing.
So it seems like it's passing all of its tests so far. You guys feel comfortable putting it on the house?
Yeah, we do. We've already put some on the garage, some fascias and rake boards, and now we're ready to build the corner. It's coming down now.
There it goes.
All right, we're ready to put the epoxy in.
Now this is a quick setting epoxy. You can also use a polyurethane glue. All right, so now we're ready to get the corner on. Get it right in there, push it up tight and in tight.
Go right above you. Tell me when you're ready.
Ready.
About 2 inches in.
Yeah, that's good. Now, the painter will come along and he'll fill all these holes. He can use an exterior filler that they would use with a putty knife, or we can actually try some of these bungs that we use on our PVC, see how that works. Wow, perfect.
So what do you guys think?
I like it. Easy to work with.
Yeah, Tommy?
It was easy to work with, but time will tell.
I guess. All right. Well, for now, we got a new product to work on. Nice.
We do. Let's get the other one going, though.
Okay.
This old house is following the restoration of an historic school building in Dracut, Massachusetts. They are restoring the old schoolhouse and turning it into 9 affordable housing units for veterans. And part of the work includes the windows, which is why we've come here to see Alison Hardy, also known as the Window Woman. Hey, Alison.
Hi, Kevin.
Great to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for having us to the shop and for the work you're doing for us at the school.
Glad you could come here.
What are you doing? You're a dying breed.
We are. There are not enough of us, clearly, but
Definitely are not.
but it's a labor of love, so we do it.
So restoration instead of replacement.
Correct.
Defend that. Why is that a good idea?
So, you know, we're working on products that were built 100 years ago, and they're still in good, serviceable condition. They look terrible because of paint, but usually under all that paint is really good construction and really good wood. So we'd rather save it than throw it in a landfill.
So one of the things that we hear a lot from folks when we're dealing with homeowners is they're worried about efficiency. They assume that a brand new window with all the modern things that come with it, you know, sort of the inert gases and the 2 panes of glass and all of that, that the efficiency is way better.
Right.
True? Not true?
No, that's not true. We have worked with a number of building energy scientists who come and set up the blower door test and the infrared camera and examine our windows versus new windows, and there's really not much difference. But again, our windows are well maintained, they're weather stripped, they lock and close. So all those things that seem very simple, but they all add up to energy efficiency.
Well, we are convinced, as you know, we've used in the past. I've used it personally on my house, so we're believers as well. And are these the windows that we pulled out of the school right here?
These are some of the Dracut school windows.
Okay, so most people would be scared by what they're looking at. This doesn't scare you at all?
They look pretty bad. We think they're ready for restoration.
You do.
These actually, and if you look, like, you know, the joints are still good and strong. The wood here is not broken. Somebody tried weather stripping.
You could do better than that, right?
Yes. You know, there's a pane of glass missing. We have glass.
It was a school after all.
It was a school.
And so here they are. What's the process for you to start work on all of these windows?
We assume that everything has lead paint on it. And we are going to make sure that we work in the safest way possible to get the paint off of it so that we can do the rest of the work. So we start with a steam process.
So this is your steamer.
This is our steam stripper.
Full house.
Yes. So the windows go in here anywhere from 15 minutes to a couple hours, depending on the type of paint that they are and the type of putty.
And does everything just get steamed? You just start with steaming pretty much?
We don't steam the bigger panes of glass because there is some heat stress and you can break the glass.
Right.
But this is fabulous for taking smaller panes of glass out.
Wow, and look how fast the old putty comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, and the glass too.
Right.
Okay, so he's done this before.
Yes, Mark is very good at this. We custom built these downdraft tables. They have a pre-filter, a HEPA filter, and a fan. So the air is drawn down and away from the worker's face, so we don't have to wear respirators. After the windows have been in the steamer, we let them dry. We don't want to scrape wet wood, it tends to pull the grain. But what's happened in the steamer is that bond of the paint to the wood is now a lot looser than it was. You can see how bubbly it is. And it comes off fairly easily.
Although it's
with skilled hands.
Right, and it still is hand scraping.
It is still hand scraping. There is no magic machine for paint removal. All of the parts of a window serve a function. These glazing bars serve to hold the glass pieces apart. They frequently get damaged. This one in particular is a very common repair that we do.
And are you matching species as well as sort of the design?
We do. This is Eastern White Pine, which is 90% of the windows that we find here in New England.
Right.
So once the repairs are done, they're ready for glazing.
Okay, and putty goes in first?
Correct. We want to do a nice soft bed of putty for the glass to rest on. So once the bedding's all ready, then the glass, which has already been cut and fit to this window, will get placed in. So once the glass is bedded, we need to make sure it stays in there, so we put in glazing points.
Just a little dart almost.
It's just a little piece of metal to hold the glass in place. What Mary's doing is tooling the putty so that it makes a nice line. We want the water to shed off the glass, so it has to be at that angle. After glazing, they go to paint, and that's the last step before we install them. Kevin, I'd like you to meet Dylan.
Hi, Dylan.
Good to meet you.
This is the round window that came from the gable end of the building, right on the front of the building. As you know, we will try to restore everything, but every now and then we come to one that really just can't be restored.
And this is one of those?
This is one of those.
Okay. How do you go about rebuilding it?
I tried to get as much information as I could off the window. So going from these pieces, I started with a template, then actually went to the school and fitted in the opening just to make sure before I spent all the time building the window that we know it's going to fit.
So this is size of the window, but then also the pattern that you determined was in the inside?
Yeah, so after I confirmed that it fit, I came back and started laying out some of the geometry to do the tenon joints on the window.
Gotcha. And from the template, then what?
From the template, then we go to, again, Eastern White Pine.
So you're taking this little piece right here is effectively one of these arches on the template.
Exactly. And
Put it on a full size, full thickness piece.
Yep.
And so is that what you started over there?
Yeah, so this is basically the next step after we get the outside radius.
So you get 3 pieces there sort of mocked up, right?
3 pieces here, the tenons fit together, and now I can start laying out the inside radius.
Right, and then you just replicate this, then you get the other half for a full circle.
Exactly.
Which is what I'm seeing behind you right there.
So, and this is the next step.
Look at that. So let me just check out your, oh, look at this joinery right here. So this is true to the original window, and you've tried to replicate that?
Yep, that's exactly how they did the original window.
Look at that, that is terrific. And that'll go together there, and this gives you the whole circumference. How do you machine this? You start with something like this. How do we end up going down to this profile?
So after I use the pattern following bit to clean up that edge, then it gets run through a profiling bit, which will cut that sash OG on whatever we run through it. So those same knives will cut all the mutton stock for this window as well.
So we end up with how many lights? Looks like 4, Allison?
It's a 4-light window.
But that is awesome. I mean, Dylan, beautiful work, thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Allison, it's great that you guys can save all these windows, keep all this stuff sort of back and sort of keep it in circulation.
And build new when we have to.
Right, perfect. Thank you.
Today's the day we're getting ready to pour a concrete slab here in our garage in Concord. Now, normally pouring a concrete slab is a simple story. Grade it off, pour the concrete in, level it, you're done. But for us, looking at this is a perfect chance to turn that slab into a real asset for us from a heating standpoint with radiant floor heating. Now, we've already paid for the infrastructure of an efficient boiler, and we got radiant and hydronics in the rest of the building. So the premium is not really that much. It's really a no-brainer. And there's a lot of reasons to think about it. One is the cars, obviously. You know, it's wonderful to be able to pull in cold weather in the morning, have the car heated. But it's more than that. It's the place where in the garage it could be used as a workshop in the future. The other thing is that garage is part of the building proper. So if we condition the garage, it helps us with the bedroom above. Anybody that's grown up in the cold bedroom over the garage knows what I'm talking about. So over the last couple of days, they've graded the sand and gravel. They put in 3/4 pea stone. And then Charlie did a thermal break around the perimeter of that garage. And that's really important because if you're going to have a warm plate heating that space, it's nice to stop the heat that wants to transfer it directly to outside. So then Abe and his guys started the process of putting in the grid system. 2-inch rigid insulated panels that come in 2-foot by 4-foot sections, and they snap together. These panels also include a vapor barrier to keep moisture from passing up through. Once that grid is in place, now the tubing can be stepped in on whatever interval you need for the heating output of the floor. Okay, which way you want to go here, Abe? You're going to go
Go right down to the wall behind you.
Okay.
Once we jump into
You lead, yep.
jump into this storage room, we'll just start our 12-inch loops.
I'll get ahead of you. And this tubing is actually a super plastic called PEX, and it won't get brittle over time, and that's really important to be able to put it in the slab and not have to worry.
One last turn, we'll head to the manifold.
A manifold distributes heat to several circuits of pipe in the floor. A single circuit would not provide enough heat for the entire garage. So just below us is the manifold location, just down in the basement. So what we're going to have to do is cut enough slack to be able to feed this home run back through this little conduit right here. All right, good. So that's home. One last thing to do though, right?
One last thing to do. After we're done, there's a lot more activity going on in here. So we're going to tie these tubes together downstairs, put a pressure gauge on it,
Yeah.
pump it up to 100 PSI.
A drop in pressure signals a problem with the system. All right, Mark, we finished just in time for you. We're under pressure. We're at 100 PSI holding.
All right, great. So what I'm going to do, Richard, is I'm going to start bringing in the wire mesh. That's going to reinforce our concrete. After we have all the wire in, we're going to get some spacers in. That's going to elevate the wire mesh and make sure it's in the middle of the pour and not at the bottom. We have a 4,500 pound mix, and we're going to need that because we know we have cars coming in and out. We have guys with wheelbarrows, we have guys with extended chutes, and we're going to put it into the farthest point of the floor first. That way we can work our way out to the door. So as we're spreading the cement, we're going to make sure that we either pull or push or tug on this wire mesh to make sure it's in position and stays in position. You can see the guys screeding right now. That's leveling the concrete. We're going to do that from back to front, side to side. We're following our line. That indicates the height and the position that the concrete should be in. Now that the concrete is in place, we're going to get our bull floats out and smooth out the concrete. So the second to last step that we're going to do is we're going to go around the perimeter with a hand tool. That's going to get all the edges as smooth as possible. The last step that we're going to do is take this power trowel. We're going to drag it all over the middle of the floor. When he's done, we're going to have a finished product. It's going to be ready to walk on in 24 hours.
There is a full bathroom down here in the basement that's getting redone, and last week our homeowner Megan picked out the tile for this room, but her job is not over yet. Megan, Lincoln, Mark, how are you?
Hey Kevin, good seeing you.
So you guys still up for this job? You laying your own tile, learning how to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited.
Why tile? What are you thinking?
Well, we're both pretty handy, but we've never actually done tile before, and so we figured this would be a great opportunity for us to get our hands dirty.
All right. Well, we've got everything we need, including the tile you picked out, Megan, which was a faux marble, cheaper than the real stuff,
A lot cheaper, yeah.
but just as durable and good for you to put down?
A lot more durable.
A lot more. Well, there you go. More for your money. All right. So where do you want to start with these guys?
Well, we're gonna make some thin set and let them get their hands dirty. We don't use any water with this. We use a latex additive. Gives the floor flexibility. Okay, which one of you guys wants the mixer?
I'll do it.
All right, just hold it in there. Okay, pull the trigger, Megan. Go ahead. Other girl, go. Okay, I got a layout, and we're gonna start with a hole here, up against the tub, and the next tile here will be a half. That creates the running bond pattern. By the time we get down to here, we're gonna have the whole tile in front of the toilet. There'll also be a 6.5-inch piece on the inside wall and on the outside wall. And the same thing will carry all the way down, and it's a large piece up against the vanity wall, so the appearance is all big, no small pieces. So now we'll cut a half. Okay, Megan, this is a wet machine. There's a pump inside here that pumps water onto this blade. It's a diamond blade, and it'll cut the tile. So,
Super.
now what you do is, once you turn this on, you just bring the wheel down slowly and go a couple of times, and as you go back and forth, you press it down a little bit more.
Okay.
You just keep on going back and forth until you go through the tile.
Okay, and so it's a gentle pressure?
Yeah, just a little bit of pressure. Once you get the mark in there, then you can put a little more pressure on it.
Okay, and you just sort of hold the tile
Yeah,
like
just
this?
hold it right there and go for it. Perfect. Now, when you spread it, you should skim over it, just like this. I'm using the thin side here just to grind it in.
Okay.
So we're making sure that the thin set's really grabbing to the floor.
Okay.
Then we're gonna take some more and use the notch side. Okay, so now we're gonna back butter the tile. What that means is we're gonna put the thin set on the back of the tile, just like spreading butter on toast. You want to wiggle it around a little bit. Put these in like this. These keep the tile from getting a lot of lippage. Every tile has to get back butted.
Okay.
Reason why is because this is wet, that thin set's wet, it's gonna grab. You know it's not going anywhere. Lincoln, if you want to spread right there, if you keep your trowel on a 45, way up, that's it. And don't be afraid. That's what we want here. You want to hear that scraping. Again, when you set it down, it's best to go in corner first, then straighten it out. Okay, now just wiggle it. Excellent. I take these wedges, put them into the spacers, and we squeeze it down, and it brings the tiles so there's no lippage.
Okay, look at this team working, huh? I saw some good back buttering going on there, Mark. So Megan, Lincoln, you guys still good with the decision to learn and do it yourself? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a little sheen of sweat, not bad. Mark, how much longer do you think they have?
We got a couple hours.
Yeah?
Then we'll be all done.
All right, well, we appreciate you sticking with them and showing it. Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Next time on This Old House, we have talked a lot about the crazy roof lines in this building, and here's one spot where you can see three of them. We've got a steep, a medium, and a shallow pitched right there. And right now, Tommy's outside trying to figure out how to make them watertight.
We're going to start painting all the clapboards before the installation.
Prime and finish coat paint as well?
That's the game plan.
In custom showers like this was once the standard. Now this is the rage.